everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with a really exciting video because today I will be showing you the tutorial for the Dahlia bag. So if you have been here before, you might already know this bag, but this is a crochet bag that I recently designed and you can now make this yourself. You can either follow this entire tutorial and get your own yarn. You can also buy the digital pattern and just follow it by yourself, or you can actually buy a crochet kit, which you will receive in a box just like this, and it comes with everything you need. So inside the kit you will also receive a booklet that is actually still in print, and then also all of the notions. So you will receive a crochet hook, some tapestry needles, some stitch markers, a measuring tape, as well as the yarn, of course. The yarn for this project is some Aran weight cotton yarn. You will need 3 of the main color, which this is Scheepjes Calista, and the main color is this cream color. And then you will also need 1 of each of the contrasting colors, which are these. And then with just a few hours of your time, you can make a bag just like this. So this is a really nice tote bag size. It doesn't have any closures or lining, so it's super simple to make. In this video, I will also explain how to do some simple techniques such as a single crochet, a double crochet, etc. So even if you're a complete beginner, you will also be able to make this bag. That was all, and let's get started with the tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this 3D flower granny square. So as you can see, this is completely 3-dimensional. You're going to be learning techniques such as a single crochet, a double crochet, a half double crochet, as well as the treble crochet. So we're going to start with our rust color and our crochet hook, of course, and we're going to start with a magic ring, which is just grabbing the yarn like this, wrapping it around your 2 fingers, and you're going to cross it like that. Then we're going to grab our crochet hook. We're going to grab that back thread up like this. And then you get a little ring like this. And then we're going to start with a chain 2. So we're going to chain 1, chain 2, which this does not count as our first stitch. So now we're going to do 16 double crochet into this ring. And a double crochet is just yarn over hook, inserting it through the magic ring, picking up a yarn over hook. So then we have 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops again. So that is our first double crochet, and we're going to do that 15 more times. Okay, so we have now completed our 16 double crochet into that ring, and I'm going to take that tail of yarn, just unravel it a little bit, and then I'm going to gently pull it, and that will tighten the magic ring. Like this, and then we're going to join the start and end together with a slip stitch. So I'm inserting my hook through that first stitch, yarn over hook, and pulling it through, and then pulling that same loop through the last loop, and then we have it joined together like this. Then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm just going to cut the yarn and pull this through. And then we have our little center completed, and we're going to move on to the next color, which is going to be the bubble stitch using the pink cotton. Now we're going to join our new color together, and you can do this anywhere, but I like to do it near the start or the end. So I'm going to insert my hook, then putting the yarn on my hook and pulling it through. And then I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to chain 2 more. So 1, 2, then we're going to do 4 double crochet into that stitch. So here we have done 4 double crochet into that same stitch, and the first chain 3 counts as our first stitch. I'm just going to pull this up and then remove my crochet hook from that stitch. Going to insert my crochet hook instead into that first stitch from the chain. Then I'm grabbing our working stitch that has our working yarn on it, and I'm going to pull it through that stitch. Then we're going to chain 1 to close it off, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to skip a stitch. So here you can see the stitches. We have our next stitch. So we're skipping that and we're inserting it into the next stitch, which is this one. So yarn over hook, inserting it into the stitch, and working 5 double crochet. So that is 4, and then number 5. Again, pulling it up, removing my crochet hook, inserting it into this stitch, then picking up the loop that has the working yarn attached and pulling it through so that they're attach together, closing it up with a chain 1 and then chain 3. You're going to work this pattern all around this ring until we have 8 of these popcorn bubbles. So here you can see that I've just worked my 8 bubble stitch. Then I'm going to chain 3 again, and we're just going to join this together with that first bubble that we made right here into that stitch that kind of closed everything up, and we're joining that together with a slip stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, and then you can also cut this yarn, and then the center of the flower is completely finished, and we're going to continue with our white yarn, and we're going to start with a slip knot. So you're going to take your yarn and you're going to twist it around itself, and then you're going to grab the working yarn through that loop and pull, so you have your first slip knot. I'm placing that on my crochet hook and pulling it tightly, and then we're going to join this in a skip stitch from the first round. So you're going to yarn over hook, then you're going to insert it into that stitch, yarn over hook again and pull it through. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook and pull through 2. So we have a double crochet, and now we're going to work 2 single crochet into this little loop of the pink yarn. So you're going to insert your hook like this, yarn over hook, and then you're going to pull the yarn over the hook through both loops. Then we're going to skip the bubble stitch, and we're immediately putting 2 single crochets into that ring again. So that is 2 single crochet. Now we're working a double crochet into that first round once again. So yarn over hook, insert through that stitch, and here it becomes a little bit tricky because now you kind of want to grab the yarn, but then as you can see, you're crocheting both of those rounds together, which is not what we want to do. So you're going to yarn over hook, you're going to insert it, and then you're just going to pull your crochet hook forward. So you're really only grabbing the rust colored yarn and not the pink yarn. Then I can yarn over the hook and pull it through, yarn over hook, pull through 2 stitches, yarn over hook and pull through 2 loops, and now we have a double crochet. And as you can see, we did not grab the pink yarn. Now again, do 2 single crochets, and you're going to repeat this little section. So again, skipping the bubble stitch, then you're going to do 2 single crochet, a double crochet in the rust yarn, and then again 2 single crochet, and you're going to do that all around until we meet back here at the start. Now we're back right here at the start, and we're going to join this together with a slip stitch. So I'm inserting my hook through that first stitch and then pulling that same loop through that other stitch like this. Now we have it joined together. Now I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a double crochet around these little white stitches. We're going to yarn over hook, then we're going to pick up that white double crochet stitch, yarn over hook and pulling it through. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we have made a double crochet around that other double crochet. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So inserting it right there, yarn over hook, pulling it through both loops. Then I'm going to chain 1 and then work a single crochet in the next 2 stitches again. And then again working that unique double crochet around this double crochet. So we're going to repeat that pattern across the entire ring. Now we're going to work the flower petals of the round. So I'm going to work a slip stitch into that next stitch just to get to the right placement. And then working a single crochet into that same stitch. Then I'm going to skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2. So here we have that chain 1 space, and then I'm going to work 9 double crochets into that chain 1 space. So here's what that will look like when you have done 9 double crochets into that chain 1 space. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2, and I'm working a single crochet into that next stitch. Skipping 2 stitches, finding that chain 1 space again, and working 9 double crochets into it. And you're going to repeat that throughout the entire round until we get back here at the beginning. So here we have worked our last flower petal of 9 double crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch together with that first single crochet. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull it through, and then you can cut this yarn as well because we're going to be starting. So here we have our flower, and now we're going to work behind the flower to make it the 3D shape that it has. So this is the trickiest part in the pattern, but with our guidance you're going to figure it out. So just trust the process. We're going to start with a slip knot. Then I'm placing that on my hook. And then we're going to join behind our work. And we're actually going to join it together with all of these little white columns that we have here. So there are 8 of those. So I'm going to insert my hook right next to it like this. And then inserting it on the opposite side like that. So this is what it looks from behind and from the front. Then we're going to yarn over and pull it through, and then yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So now we have it joined together. And then I'm going to chain 4 to be able to reach that next stitch that we're going to join. So the next join is going to be right here in this stitch. So I'm inserting it next to it, pulling the yarn through, yarn over and pulling it through both loops. And then I'm going to repeat that process around the entire flower. So this is what that looks like from behind. I've just done the last 4 chains. And then as always, we're going to join this together with a slip knot. So I'm inserting it through that first stitch, pulling the yarn through and pulling the yarn through that last loop. And then we have it here joined together. And now we're able to use all of these little loops to work the background color. Now I'm going to chain 1 and then do a single crochet into the same stitch. Now we're going to be working into this chain 4 space. We're going to do our first half double crochet, which is yarn over hook, insert it, yarn over hook. So we have 3 loops on the hook. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those hooks. So that is why this is called a half double crochet. So I'm going to show you that again. Yarn over hook, insert it, pull the yarn through. So you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over hook and pull through all 3 loops. Then we're going to do 3 double crochets. And then I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to skip the next stitch. So we're going to work again in our chain 4 space. Going to start with 3 double crochet. So we have 3 double crochet, then 2 half double crochet. And then we're going to single crochet into this stitch. So here's what that looks like. And this is what will create the corner points. So we're going to repeat this exact same thing, starting with then the 2 half double crochets. Then our 3 double crochets. Then we're going to chain 1 and do 3 double crochets into that chain 4 space again. And then 2 half double crochet. And then a single crochet into that final stitch. Now you can see we have another corner point. So we're going to do that again for the 2 other sections, and then we're going to meet back here at the start. So here we are back at the beginning, and remember we started with that single crochet. So we're just going to do a slip stitch to join it together. Now we're going to chain 1 and then doing a single crochet into that same stitch. Then I'm going to single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to skip the next 3 stitches. And then in this chain 1 space, we're going to do 5 clusters of 2 treble crochets with a chain 2 between. So we're going to skip 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we have that chain 1 space, and we're going to do the treble crochet, which a treble crochet is, instead of with a double crochet, we did the yarn over the hook once. A treble just means doing it again. So instead of 1, we're doing that twice. Inserting it through that chain 1 space, yarn over hook and pulling it through. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. I'm gonna pull it through 2 loops, yarn over hook and pull it through 2 loops. Now usually you would finish this off, but here we are making clusters. So I'm actually going to do this again, and then we're gonna join it together, and that is what will make it a cluster. So we're gonna yarn over hook twice, insert it, yarn over hook, pull through 2 loops, yarn over hook and pull through 2 loops. So now we have those 3 loops on the hook. And now we're going to join this. So we're going to yarn over and pull it through all loops. So that is our first treble crochet cluster. And we're going to do a chain 2 between each cluster. So we're going to chain 1, chain 2, and then working that treble crochet cluster again. And that is our second treble crochet cluster. So we're going to work 3 more. And remember to just do those 2 chains in between except for at the end. So here's how it looks when you have worked 5 treble crochet clusters. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, we're not going to do the 2 chains now. We are instead going to skip 3 stitches. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to work into that next stitch with a single crochet. And then we're going to do that 5 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Again, skipping the next stitches and working into that chain 1 space. Again, with those treble crochet clusters. So here we have worked our 5 treble crochet clusters again. Then we're going to skip 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, and then working a single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And then that is going to be our pattern repeat around the entire square. So here we have worked our last 5 treble crochet clusters. And remember that we started with 3 single crochet. So we need to do 2 more single crochet to join this together. And then I'm going to join this together with a slip stitch, then chain 1. And then you can actually cut your yarn because we have finished with the green section. So now we're going to work the border with the white color or the main color. I'm again going to start with a slip knot. And then we're going to join it together around any of these little clusters. So I'm going to yarn over a hook, then picking up a cluster like that with my crochet hook, yarn over the hook and pull it through. So now I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now we have it joined together like this. Then we're going to single crochet 2 in this chain space. And then we're going to do that double crochet around that cluster again. So yarn over hook, picking up the cluster, yarn over hook, pulling it through, yarn over hook, pull through 2 loops, yarn over hook, pull through 2 loops. And then again doing 2 single crochet into this chain 2 space. And you're going to repeat this around the entire cluster. And we're going to end that with a double crochet around one of those clusters. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Now we're back at our corner point with the 5 clusters, and we're going to do that double crochet around the cluster again. And then doing 2 single crochet in each 2 chain space. And we're going to repeat this around the entire corner point, just like before. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches again. And that is going to be our pattern repeat around the entire square until we're back at the start. So now we are back at the start and we're going to join this together with a slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 and then do a single crochet into that same stitch. Then we're going to single crochet into the next 4 stitches. And now we're going to make our first corner. So we're doing a half double crochet, which was yarn over hook, inserting it through that stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over hook and pull through all 3 loops. And then we're going to do 2 double crochet with a chain 1 between and then another 2 double crochet all into that same stitch to create a corner point. And then a half double crochet into the next stitch. And that is how our corner looks. Now we're going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Then we're going to do a half double crochet into the next stitch, then a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Then a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And now we're back at our corner point. So we're going to start again with a half double crochet, and then doing a 2 double crochet, a chain 1 and a 2 double crochet again, all in that same stitch. And that is going to be our pattern repeat. So now we're again doing the half double crochet next to it, single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And we're going to work this pattern repeat all around the square until we meet back here at the beginning. So we started with our 5 single crochet, which means we are now ending with our 3 double crochet in the center and then 1 half double crochet. And then we're going to join this together with a slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 2 and then work a double crochet into that same stitch. Then we're going to do a double crochet into the next 7 stitches. Then we have reached our chain 1 space. I'm going to do 2 double crochet into that chain 1 space. Then we're going to chain 1 and then do 2 double crochets again into that same space. And now we're going to do a double crochet into every single stitch until we reach this chain 1 space again. It should be approximately 21 times. And now we have reached our chain 1 space, and we're going to make that same corner, which is 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, all into that same space. And that is going to be our pattern repeat, and you're going to work that around the entire square until we meet here at the beginning. So here you can see the bag with the side borders and also the bottom border attached. So now I'm going to show you how to make each side border, and then afterwards we're going to make this bottom border. So first of all, you're just going to grab your flower granny square, and then you can just choose any of these sides to make the side border to. It doesn't really matter which one it is because all of the sides are the same. Then I'm going to take the rust color yarn and we're going to start. So we're going to do a single crochet into every single stitch along one of these edges, and I'm going to start in this one. So I just insert my crochet hook, then I take that other color of yarn and I wrap it around my crochet hook to join it. And then I'm going to chain 1, and that already counts as our first single crochet. So my next single crochet will be in the stitch next to it. So I'm going to insert my crochet hook, grab the yarn, then yarn over hook and pull through both loops on the hook. So I'm going to do that into every single stitch that you see here until we meet back here. So we have single crocheted in every single stitch for approximately 24 stitches. Now we're just going to turn our work, and then I'm going to single crochet into every stitch once again. So we're going to chain 1, and that counts as our first single crochet. And then I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch. So here I have single crocheted into every single stitch from the wrong side. And just to check that we're still on track, I am quickly going to count the stitches. So that should still be 24, which it is. Then I'm just going to chain 1, and then you can cut the yarn. So here we have completed the rust color, and now we're going to move on to the pink color. Again, I'm joining the yarn just as before by inserting the crochet hook into that first stitch. Then just placing the yarn on my hook, of course leaving enough yarn to weave in the tail, pulling that through, and then chain 1. So that is now our first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet again into every single stitch for 24 stitches. And this last stitch was actually a chain 1 instead of a single crochet, but you can still just insert the crochet hook through and turn it into a single crochet, just like that. And then we are again going to turn our work to start working from the wrong side. Again, I'm going to chain 1, that counts as our first stitch, and then I'm going to single crochet into every single stitch. So I have just single crocheted into every single stitch from the wrong side, and I just counted my stitches, and by this time you should have 23 stitches instead of 24, which is exactly what we're going to need for the row of bubble stitches. So I'm turning my work again, then I'm going to chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and we're going to work a bubble stitch into every other stitch, which is just doing 5 double crochet into the same stitch. So that is 5 double crochet, then I'm removing my crochet hook from there, inserting it into that first stitch, picking up that loop and pulling it through, then chain 1 to close it up, and then chain 1 again to bring us to that next space. So we're skipping the next space and then going into this one. So we're going to keep making bubbles just like this, and then I will meet you back here at the end when you have made your 11th bubble, and then I will show you how to close that up. So I have just worked my 11 bubble stitch, and then I also chained 1 to bring us to the next space. And now we're going to do a double crochet into that final chain 1, which was our first stitch. So it's not a single crochet like the other one, so it's a little bit more difficult, but there you have it. And then I'm going to chain 1, then you're going to break your yarn and pull it through. And that is the pink row finished. Now we're going to work 2 rows with half double crochet, and we're going to start again from the right side. So I'm going to insert my crochet hook here into that space that we created from the chains. And I'm going to join the yarn, chaining 1. And this time I'm actually going to chain 3 to get to the right length for a half double crochet. So 2 more, just like that. And then I'm going to do the first half double crochet into that first stitch. So you're going to do a half double crochet into these stitches that we created from joining the bubbles together. and then into the chain 1 spaces. So a half double crochet is wrapping the yarn around the hook, inserting it, pulling the yarn back through, yarn over hook and pulling it through all 3 loops on the hook. So then the next one is in that chain 1 space. And then you're going to continue just like this across the entire row. Then I'm going to turn my work to the wrong side, and then I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to do my first half double crochet right into this stitch. And then we are just working a half double crochet into every single stitch, just as we have done before. Then I'm going to chain 1, and then we're going to break the yarn and pull it through. And that is our finished border section. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side, which is going to be this one. So then eventually you will have a border on each side, and then we're ready to attach the bottom border. Okay, so we have just finished the border on each side, and at this point I like to weave in some of these ends just to make it a little bit easier to attach the bottom. So you're going to take your main color yarn, the cream one, and we're going to single crochet into almost every single stitch along this edge. And I'm going to show you the rate. So for this little section, until the rust color, we're picking up 8 single crochet. Then for the white section here, we're doing 26, and then here again 8. So I'm going to show you. First of all, we're going to join the yarn. Again, I'm just inserting my crochet hook, wrapping the yarn around it, pulling it through, chaining 1. So this counts as my first stitch. Then I'm going to single crochet into the next one. So here we have our first row completed out of 6. Now we're going to decrease 1 stitch on each side on each row. So I'm going to turn the work to the wrong side. And here we are going to slip stitch into that first stitch. So this is our last stitch, and we're working that slip stitch into the stitch. And then we're going to do a single crochet into every single stitch. And we're not going to work just yet into that last stitch. So you will have to meet me back here. So here we have reached our corner, and here we have that first single crochet and then that chain that we did to join the yarn together. And we're going to do a slip stitch into that first single crochet of the first row. And then we have our slip stitch, and then I'm turning the work to the right side. And then those are our first 2 decreases to make this bottom edge just a little bit more rounded. Again, here I'm going to do a slip stitch to get to the next row here. Then I'm going to chain 1, which then counts as our first stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet in a stitch next to it. And then I'm working a slip stitch into this final stitch. Then I'm turning the work to the wrong side, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into that first stitch, and then chaining 1, and then single crochet into every stitch. And this is going to be our pattern repeat, and we're working a total of 6 rows. So this is actually row number 4. And then on our final row, I've just done that last slip stitch. Then I'm going to chain 1, just cutting the yarn and pulling that through. And then here is how our new bottom edge is looking. I think this looks really nice. You see that it has a little bit of shaping. So now we have 2 identical pieces, a front and a back. It doesn't really matter which one is which. We're just going to place them together with the wrong sides touching. So I'm placing this one facing down, and then this one right on top. And we're going to seam these together right along this entire bottom edge and also the side edges. So we're going to take our white colored yarn, and I'm going to cut quite a long piece. Usually 2 or 3 times the amount that you're going to be sewing is a right amount. You're going to insert your tapestry needle in this. Then we're going to start with one of these edges, and I'm just going to turn this around because we want to start with the borders. And we're going to be seaming this together using the mattress stitch method, which is just like this. It's very easy. So you're going to insert your needle from back to front through a stitch. So you're going to pick up both loops of a stitch, which is a little bit easier to tell here because that first stitch was not really a stitch, but that's what that will look like. But we are starting right here on the corner, pulling that through, and then leaving a tail that is long enough to weave in. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time I'm working from front to back on the opposite side. And then I'm again going to be weaving in on this side. So you're going to go back and forth just like this, picking up both loops of a stitch and pulling it through. And then on one side I'm going from front to back, and then on the other side I'm going back to front. And then here, once you have done a little bit more work, you can actually pull it and tighten it, and then you can see that that is invisible. And you always want to pick up the coordinating stitch of the row so that the bag does not become lopsided. So basically every stitch on a row kind of has one that is opposite of each other, just like this. And those are the stitches that we're seaming together. And then I will meet you back here right at the end when we start doing this little corner. So now we are at the corner point, and here it becomes a little bit less clear on how to pick up the stitches because we don't have like normal stitches because we did the decreases here. So you're going to just still insert it. And in the end, of course, we're working with the same color yarn, so it's barely going to be visible. But you just want to get close to the edge, but not too small. So you don't want to pick up a single loop, but still just try to pick up 2 loops. And then just keep those fairly close together. So we're not going to suddenly have 2 centimeters between and do the next one here, but we're just going to keep them a little bit more spaced together. And then we have finished our corner. And now it's easy again, because now we can pick up the stitches from the bottom edge, which was a lot more clear. So we're picking up both of those loops. And then we're going to work across this entire bottom edge all the way around until we are back here at the other side of the back border. So now we have seamed the entire bottom edge and sides together. So the bag is looking like this. It's actually starting to look like a bag basically. And now we're going to work the top. We are going to join right here on the side with the main color yarn, so the white yarn. And then I'm going to chain 1. And now we're going to do a single crochet into every single stitch along the entire top edge. On the bottom edge we did 2 single crochet in one of these stitches, but on the top edge I'm only doing 1. To tighten it a little bit. So here we have our first chain, which counts as 1 stitch, then 2 in the white section, 3 in the pink section, and 2 in the rust section. And then here again for the white square, we're just doing 1 single crochet into every single stitch, just like we did on the bottom. So you're going to repeat this pattern all around until we meet back here where we joined the yarn. So now we are back here at the beginning, and we're going to join this together with a slip stitch. So now it's joined together. And then we're going to work exactly the same round as we did before. So we're going to do a single crochet into every single stitch. First, I'm just going to chain 1, and then I'm going to do a single crochet into that same stitch. So that is our first single crochet. And now we're going to do a single crochet into every stitch that we did before. And then we're going to do that all the way around until we meet back here at the beginning. Again, we are here at the beginning. I'm going to join this together with a slip stitch. And now we're going to start some decrease rounds. And for this, we're not going to be working the full entire circumference of the bag, but we're working this in a little section, kind of like this big. So we're going to be using some of our removable stitch markers that you have received in the kit. So we're going to count from the white square, like this. So we're going to count our single crochets. Doesn't have to be super exact, but just here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then I'm placing my removable stitch marker into that 8th stitch. And I'm going to be doing the same thing on the opposite side. And you're going to be doing the same on the back side. Just like that. And then we're going to here chain 1. And then we're going to break the yarn, because we're going to join it at one of these places. So we can work back and forth. So I'm going to be joining it here on the right side. So we can start from a right side row. And I'm going to be inserting my hook right next to that stitch where we put the stitch marker. Doing a chain 1, which this time again does not count as our first stitch. So I'm going to do a single crochet into that same stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet into every single stitch that we come across until we reach the side marker here. Because there we will be doing our first decrease. So here we are doing our first decrease, and we're just going to skip the next single crochet and work a single crochet in a stitch besides it. Now I have worked my last single crochet right before my stitch marker. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and I'm going to slip stitch this together. Now we're going to turn our work. Then I'm going to slip stitch into that next stitch, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to single crochet into every single stitch. And we're only going to be decreasing on the side seam on every right side row. So this is a wrong side row, so we are not going to be decreasing here. So now we are back at our stitch marker, still on the wrong side, and I've just worked my last single crochet. Now we're going to slip stitch this together, and then you can also remove this stitch marker. Now we're going to turn our work to the right side. We're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, then chain 1, then working a single crochet in every single stitch, except here right at the side seam where we're going to be skipping 1 stitch to decrease, and then you will meet me back here at the end. Now I have again worked my last single crochet, then just as before I'm going to slip stitch, which can be a little bit tricky. Then we're going to turn our work to the wrong side, and just as before, going to slip stitch into that first stitch, chain 1, and then work a single crochet into every single stitch. And that is going to be our pattern repeat. Okay, so after doing the number of repeats that you want for your desired strap width, now we're going to continue working the strap. Now we're at the right side. I am just going to slip stitch this together just like before, chain 1, and then doing a single crochet into every single stitch. And this time I am not doing a decrease, even though I am on the right side. Turn this to the wrong side. Then I'm going to chain 1, make a single crochet into that same stitch, and then single crochet into every stitch next to it. Turning to work to the right side, chain 1, again single crochet into that same stitch, and single crochet into every stitch. So that is how we are going to work our strap back and forth. You can make it as long as you want. I will have the measurements that we used on the screen. And now I have worked to my desired strap length. Of course, you have to remember that we're working half of the strap because we are going to be seaming them together right here at the top. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to break the yarn, and I'm going to leave a long tail so I can use that to weave the 2 straps together. And now we're going to repeat all of the steps that we did here. We're going to repeat that exact same thing here. So we're going to start joining the yarn here and working until this stitch marker, until we have created the exact same thing on this side as well. And then I will meet you back here. So this is what the bag is currently looking like after we've worked the other side of the strap. So now we're going to seam these 2 together. And you remember that we left that long tail of yarn, so I'm going to attach that to my tapestry needle. And then just as before, I'm going to insert on this side from back to front. Then on the other side, I'm going from front to back. And just tightening that. And then we will work back and forth just like that. And remember to pick up both loops of that stitch. And that's how that looks. And then we can just weave in those ends later. And then just to polish everything up, I'm going to work a single crochet edge all around the strap on both sides. You can basically start anywhere, but I'm just going to start right here because I can easily see the stitches. Going to wrap the yarn around my crochet hook, then chain 1. Then I'm going to single crochet into that same stitch, so that will be my first stitch. And then I'm going to single crochet into every single stitch. And here it becomes a little bit more tricky because these are the sides where we did all of the decreases. So the stitchers are not as easily seen, but I'm just going inside there. And I'm just especially making sure that they're not too close together because it's on a diagonal. So you don't want this to be too close together. Now you can see that we're just past that decrease section and now we're continuing on to the straight strap. And here it's a little bit easier again because now we can just pick up into every row that we worked. So you're going to work around the strap all the way around to where we joined the yarn. So now we're back here at the beginning and we're just going to join the beginning and end together with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then we can cut the yarn and pull it through. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the strap. So here you can just see the difference that it makes. Just makes the edge a lot smoother. So after you've added that to the other side, you can weave in all of the ends, then give the bag a little steam block, and then it is finished. That was the entire tutorial for the Dahlia bag. If you did make your own Dahlia bag, please do make sure to tag me on Instagram. You can use the hashtag #MippyDahlia. And that way I also get to see it and I can share it with people. So we can all get very inspired by the colors that you chose. If you wanted to support the channel, you could buy the pattern in the link in the description or the crochet kit. Thank you so much for watching. For now, I wish you all a very happy day, happy knitting and crocheting. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!